A matchup so good, we made you wait a little longer to build tension. It's the Greenville Triumph and the Charlotte Independence with the Jägermeister Cup playoff berth on the line, presented by ScanSource. Welcome one and all to this broadcast on ESPN+. My name is Mark Schoenster. I am joined by Ross Davenport. Let's take a peek at the situation, standings-wise, brought to you by Hopkins Eye Center. It is Greenville and Charlotte. The winner will move on. They win their group. And it's whoever wins. So down to if they win in regulation, winning in penalties, whoever gets more points in this game will be the team to advance on and represent in the group in the Jägermeister Cup, Ross. And this has been a series that if we were trying to use empirical data to predict who's going to win, it'd be kind of hard to do that because it is split even between the two sides at 10 matches. But if there is one piece of data that would help, in the 9 of the 10 games that these two teams have played against each other, the home team has won. So Greenville, the more likely of the sides to win if we're using that metric. But hey, you never know. Meanwhile, let's take a look at some players to highlight. First off, Rodrigo Robles is back in the lineup, and they're looking for some spark offensively. He could be the one to bring it.
Yeah, signed a few games to go. Leo Castro went down with the injury. He is back on the bench tonight. Robles brought in to provide some depth on the attacking side of things. Missed last week's game due to concussion, back in tonight. And Greenville need him with the way they're dealing with the injuries at the moment. He's a solid scorer in college. West Virginia, James Madison, we're trying to find the back of the net tonight. Advance Greenville to the knockout stage.
And on the other side, someone who's a lot more proven when it comes to scoring goals this season, Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. has 11 goals in league play, 3 goals in Jägermeister play.
Yeah, proven goal scorer in the USL Championship, 22 goals in 82 appearances there for RGV, Hartford, Pittsburgh. One of the signings that opened up some eyes this year in the offseason. Caused some problems tonight for that Greenville backline. He assisted on both goals in that cup win 3 weeks ago that sort of forced this play-in game, because if Greenville had won that game, they'd have already been qualified coming into tonight.
Well, it's a good one tonight, and either side has the chance to punch their ticket to the next round. But which one will it be? Is it the Greenville Triumph or the Charlotte Independence? Who's got another shot of glory in them? Let's find out together on the other end of this break on ESPN+.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care, from our family to yours.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting new tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. And this match is brought to you by ScanSource, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. As we welcome you back here to Paladin Stadium, the game kicking off about 45 plus minutes past the initial time that it was meant to be, but Mother Nature decided to keep us waiting with bated breath here. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you on ESPN Plus as we look at the starting lineups brought to you by Pelham Medical Center. First off, for the Greenville Triumph, might see a different shape today, Ross.
Yeah, getting slightly healthier than last week in their loss to NOCO. Robles back after the concussion problem. Talked about him in the open. Nate Schultz also back after a rare substitution appearance last week. And Zion Scarlett gets a start with a lot of wide players in the midfield. So perhaps we'll see him up top with Robles, Herrera, and Velasquez remain out for the time being, the two key midfielders for Rick Wright.
Meanwhile, standard shape for Mike Jeffries' side, the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, just one change for Mike Jeffries. Oberton in for Carlton Belmore. Obviously, Obregon Jr., we mentioned him. Oberton, we'll perhaps see him for a half or so, maybe a little more with a veteran from France. Such a creative talent in that midfield. And Austin Pack at the back. That man made some superb saves last week, continuing to add to his gaudy save totals on the season.
And here we go. Doesn't get much better than this as far as regular season or group stage tension is concerned. You win and you make it through. Greenville currently have the 1-point edge over Charlotte, but should the Independents win via penalties, they'd be tied and they have the tiebreaker. On the bottom of your screen, quick taping up necessary before we can get things going. Our head official for the game this evening, Alvin Oliva, and Jamie Smith will now run his way over to his position.
Greenville seeking their first win in a while. They were all out of sorts early against NOCO, found themselves down 2-0 in that matchup last weekend. Getting a little healthier tonight. Obviously, a win here will be very, very important, getting to that knockout stage where we think they may go play Madison. I'm not sure of the seeding purposes, but Madison and NOCO certainly hosting the two semifinals. Omaha likely already in with that wild card total, unless this game finishes 6-6 or 7-7, where we might get both of these teams in.
I don't think either one of them has that on the agenda, though.
Stranger things have happened in Friday night action, Mark. It's not quite USL League One, but
we are underway here. Winner takes all in this cross-border rivalry between the Carolinas. Zion Scarlett, who taps it out to Hayden Anderson. Two youngsters knocking it back and forth there.
see Ryan McKinnon, number 9, was forced into more of a central role last weekend against the Hailstorm, and was really just crowded out anytime he got the ball. He was the one danger man they had to worry about with no Castro, no Robles.
No Velasquez behind that to supply. That was a 3-0 loss on the road. Definitely a rough road trip in many stretches. Rick Wright said it was one of those games where he didn't feel his side played bad, but they were horrible at the wrong times, he said. He mentioned that the first goal was sort of a domino effect of mistakes. This one gets lobbed in, knocked away, and the follow-through not hit cleanly. He felt that the attacking in the game got better as the game wore on, but at that point you're trying to play catch-up. Down a goal, down 2 goals, eventually down 3.
Yeah, just chasing shadows those first 10 minutes, and NOCO really made them pay. NOCO didn't play particularly well themselves, but did enough, and they got that 3rd goal from Horde that put things away in the second half. And Greenville slowly getting healthier. Now Castro on the bench tonight, may be able to go 10 to 20 minutes, said Rick Wright, if needed in this one. Leo Castro is so good starting the defensive play from that front line, chasing balls and pressing.
Let's take a look at our keys of the game, brought to you by Fox Carolina. Opportunity for Greenville first, though. Ryan McKinnon takes a shot, and it'll bounce out wide. And we're gonna get a yellow card and a foul here. Ryan JJ early going into the books.
JJ's very confused about why the yellow card was given. Here's take another look on the replay. Oof, yeah, that stands up. Well, he certainly stepped on the toe of Ryan McKinnon late. Early statement by referee Alvin Oliva there. No doubt about that. It's perhaps a harsh yellow, but
A yellow card brought to you by GSP International Airport.
sometimes referees like to make that statement early and say, hey, I'm not going to put up with things like that. Certainly a clumsy challenge from the newly discovered center back for Charlotte. JJ, more of a defensive midfielder by trade. But 4 shutouts in the last 6 games since he's been moved to the center of the defensive line. See Jamie Smith trying to play a little screen. Well, the rule on this is if you interfere with the goalkeeper and you're in offside position, Jamie Smith, I don't know if he's going to hang out there.
Maybe just an intimidation factor.
He's an intimidating figure, Jamie Smith. Not someone I'd like to meet in the dark alley.
It's Lai McKinnon and Pascal Corvino by the dead ball.
I think Charlotte players are trying to claim that the ball should be a little closer to the 18-yard box. Those of you in soccer know that the closer you get to that line, it's sometimes harder to get up and over. A complete mess for Greenville there.
It was left for Fricky to take as he tried to sneak into the picture. Schultz floats this one in, headed away by JJ. Now Evan Lee takes the shot, and that one scatters wide.
Yeah, perhaps trying to catch Charlotte napping with that first training ground free kick, but they were ready for it. As soon as that ball was touched, they advanced from their 10-yard spot and just completely wrecked whatever Greenville were trying to do.
Here are your keys to the game. First off, for the Greenville Triumph and the Charlotte Independence. For Charlotte, it's wait for the window. Mike Jeffrey's side has been successful this year against Greenville when they've absorbed the pressure and they've waited for counterattack opportunities, when they've waited for their moments to strike. Meanwhile, Greenville, recently it's been about mistakes, and it's been about not capitalizing on opportunities on the offensive end. So giving yourself some chances, both offensively, but also don't give the other team chances on the defensive end, as we see a replay of the head contact on Luis Alvarez.
It's the rare, almost back of the head to back of the head challenge. I don't normally see that very often. He's now getting checked out. Been a key player in his rookie season, Mark. I don't think he was perhaps expected to play this big of a role, but he's scored key goals. He's been up and down those wings. He'll have to come off here for at least a few seconds until play restarts. That didn't make any fans in Greenville, I mean in Richmond, excuse me, with the celebration after the goal there.
Anderson, just 23 years old, from Greenville, South Carolina. Went off to play at Memphis before turning back home to play as a pro.
Yeah, one of the 3 rookie midfielders Greenville had last week. Ben Zakowski got the start against the Hailstorm on the bench tonight. Something you see too often in USL League One, 3 rookies starting in the midfield, often necessitated for Greenville with the injuries to Chapa Herrera and Sebastian Velasquez. We asked Rick Wright whether thought about considered rushing them back for this one, but obviously Greenville certainly in the playoff mix in League One. Decided not to do that tonight. They're still perhaps a game or 2 away, those 2. Muscular injuries, but Velasquez especially as a recurrence of a hamstring injury he dealt with earlier this season.
There's Joel Johnson and his cross immediately hitting Pascal Corvino. So although a bad result for Greenville in their last game, a very good one for Charlotte at home, winning 4-0 against Central Valley Fuego. But it was a rather chaotic 4-0 victory. Definitely not the most comfy of what some would consider blowout wins.
No, it was a bizarre one. I mean, Fuego, every time they seem to step on the field, something happens strangely. It was a late red card, had 23 shots. Fast Impact made some superb saves. It was a real true clean sheet for him.
Mike Jeffries had a lot of good things to say about that side. Central Valley said they've improved drastically under the tutelage of Jermaine Jones. So it's a solid group that's coming together. He felt that his side was pretty lucky to get the early goal, and then they could manage the game, and they managed it well.
What if Fuego's side at Greenville have to play twice? Still in the regular season.
Sis to Johnson. Can't get out of this corner. Jamie Smith doing well there. That was a Central Valley Fuego team that Jeffrey's described as causing a lot of trouble between the 18s. He said that his team took advantage of their chances and Central Valley couldn't convert on theirs, and like you mentioned, a lot of that has to do with the goalkeeping prowess of Austin Pack.
Yeah, coming into tonight, 62 saves on the season. Still 14 behind TJ Bush of Chattanooga, who I hope they've bought him his own individual ice bath there in Tennessee. Sean Lewis almost 20 saves behind Austin Pack in third. It's been a crazy discrepancy this season between the teams with a solid back line that make their goalkeepers' lives a lot easier and those that make their goalkeepers work. I remember when I played goal, I used to love being more involved in the game, but obviously when you're looking for results at the professional level, it's not something you really want to see, the number of saves that some of these guys have made this season.
Yeah, if I'm a professional coach trying to have a winning team, I want my goalkeeper to be bored out of his mind.
Well, we saw early on what Alvin Leva was going to put up with tonight. And there's another example of perhaps a harsh early yellow, this time for Arrigo Robles. We can take another look at it here. Certainly clumsy, just cut across the line of the run, but perhaps another harsh yellow. Alvin Leva was involved earlier this season in an interesting incident in the Greenville game when he sent off Amal Knight against Lexington for some verbal.
Well, Ross, one way or another, whether you agree if it's too harsh or not, the standard has been established now.
Oh, for sure. Listen, every coach will tell you they do their research on the referees and what they're going to put up with and what they won't put up with. You can go back and look at any referee's record when it comes to yellow cards and see exactly how they deal with those 50-50 potential cards, potentially not card decisions. And Leva, as long as all the coaches want is consistency, Mark, and it's been consistent so far here in the first 10 minutes. Evan Lee dropping a little deeper tonight. We've seen him play more advanced in the midfield of late. It's Carlos Anguiano playing at that 6th spot last weekend against the Hailstorm in place of Chapo Herrera. Now Evan Lee dropping back to a role he's been familiar with over the last couple of seasons. Might not be too happy with it though. He loves to get forward, as we already saw tonight with that one half chance.
Yeah, as the years have gone by, Evan Lee has scooted himself further and further up the spine. McKinnon. Still with it. Back up top, Corvino. Pascal Corvino has demonstrated that he can let it fly from the top of the 18. Just didn't connect cleanly there. A USL League One matchup kicks off September coverage, of the CBS Sports Network. Player Shield holder Union Omaha visits newcomer Spokane Velocity FC in their first ever regular season clash. September 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network.
Those that were paying attention to social media earlier today would have seen Greenville sign a player. It's going to help with some of the midfield injuries. Federico Astachuk, but not ready to play tonight. Perhaps we'll see him next weekend. Interesting signing from Carolina Core, just on loan for now.
Trying to get themselves out of this bit of a slump that Greenville have been in recently. Talked to Rick Wright a little bit about that, and he said, we haven't all of a sudden become a poor team, he said. It's like every player has taken their individual turn making the crucial mistake in a game. So they requested a players-only meeting, so they had that. Had a really good video session, great training session on Wednesday after we talked to Rick Wright. And he said, as a team, we have to remember our values.
Yeah, these midfield injuries also came at a time when the rookies aren't used to playing this many games, Mark. This is kind of the time where they tend to hit the wall a little bit. They looked a little tired, especially early in that Hailstorm game with the long trip. This team was basically built around Chapo Herrera and Sebastian Velasquez, right? So two crucial injuries for Rick Wright. Just going to try and steady the ship here. Hang about. Semi-final will be September 11th, so that just adds some more congestion to the fixture list, whichever of these teams wins tonight. Last thing you want when you're a banged-up team is 3 games in the space of 7 or 8 days. So if one's a playoff game, I think makes the blow a little softer. You've obviously got to think about what you're going to do with the 2 games either side of it. Well, that depends on where you are in the League One standings.
Here's Oberton. Takes this one forward. Johnson brings it down, deflects off of Smith, and it won't be kept in bounds. So a corner kick incoming for the Charlotte Independents.
If Greenville were to have to go on the road in the semi-final, that'd be 3 road games in the space of 8 days. They play Omaha on the 7th and then Chattanooga on the 14th.
Anton Sorensen making his way over to take this corner kick. Sorensen plays it short to Alvarez. Plays it inside. Oberton taps it back out. Sorensen. Wiped down the process. Play goes on. Alvarez back inside. Diving header knocks it out. And it's a through-in. Alvarez back to Oberton.
Rodrigo Robles with a very risky tackle challenge in the box.
Oberton takes the shot. It's off the post. And now going the other direction. Lion McKinnon gets knocked into. And another booking. Anton Sorensen goes in. His 4th yellow card in Jägermeister Cup play.
I think Gunther Rankenberg may have got a cleat on that one. That rocket from Oberton. We know what he can do when given any kind of space in the box. From a Manchester United man. Let's take a look at it here, see if we can see if Gunther Rankenberg did indeed get a touch on this one. It's hard to tell just with the pace that Oberton hit that with. Another perhaps harsh yellow. I know it stopped the transition. Perhaps that's why he gave it. Already up to 3 yellows.
Anton Sorensen goes into the book. That yellow card brought to you by GSP Airport. Interestingly enough, Ross, Anton Sorensen across the league play, you know, the league that he's played in 14 times this season, he has 2 yellow cards. This is his 8th, at most, matchup in Jägermeister Cup play, and he's got 4 yellow cards.
He just gets excited. He wants those goals. He's going to foul people to get there. I can't remember whether the disciplinary record was one of the tiebreakers. Hopefully we don't have to worry about that. Remember, cards do carry over between these 2 competitions.
Johnson. Gives it back to Spielman. Spielman lobs this one up ahead, and Alvarez couldn't keep it in play. Fans, make sure to visit GreenvilleTriumph.com to check out the latest merch and kit launches.
So they had a kit sale going on this week. I'm not sure if it's still going on. Love that lunar kit.
Jamie Smith rolls it over to Fricky, who gives it right back. So we touch base on the Greenville run of form. It's the complete opposite story for the Charlotte Independents. 9 games unbeaten. The last time they lost a game was here at Paladin Stadium, June 19th against Greenville. And when I asked Mike Jeffries if anything really significant had changed, he said, not really. I mean, we keep playing the way we've been playing, but we're just scoring more and we're not allowing in easy goals. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Anderson. Back out to Corvino.
Charlotte, just one of those teams that just go about their business in a very professional manner every season. Obviously got to the title game last year. Bring back most of that team. I think everybody thought, again, coming into this year, they would certainly be contenders. Like every team, they've had a couple of slow patches, but certainly found their form now.
Anderson chests it down. Robles now. Puts that one ahead of Anderson, but too far ahead. Roll out for a goal kick. We check out our weather report brought to you by Fox Carolina. It's going to be a little bit cooler, Ross, after some rain and the promise of thunder nearby. Partly cloudy out now in Greenville, South Carolina. 76 degrees, though. Certainly not too bad. Eventually, the temperature will drop, but we'll wait to see when that happens. I remember talking to Matt Glazer this week in Madison, and they haven't felt the weather drop yet, so the odds are you're not going to start feeling it in Greenville either at this moment. Of course, weather is not that simple as north and south, but you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, the thunderstorms were in the area earlier, all fizzled out as they often do it in the late afternoon, early evening. Ooh.
Play is going on despite a body hitting the turf.
I'd say the hardest challenge of the night. Referee Lever just took a half a glance at it and turned around. Neither player was at fault. Certainly a hefty challenge.
Scarlett could not get by. That was not out of bounds, I don't think.
All sorts of discussions. Rick Wright is standing feet from it. Mark Ward, the assistant coach, waving his finger at the assistant referee. After all that, it's a Charlotte throw.
I mean, my initial impression there, Ross, was that that crossed one of the lines that's over there, but I didn't think that crossed the actual touch line.
This is part of the problem with this field, unfortunately. You just got to deal with it.
Alvarez. Oberton. Out to Sorensen. Sorensen drills that one inside. And it was Omar Sis who was awaiting it. Sis scored a nice goal in that game against Central Valley. And although Mike Jeffries didn't say anything major had changed in this streak, he did point out a couple of things that have gotten better with this side. Chance creation has improved. I already mentioned that they're not letting goals leak through. Their expected goals per game is getting better along this season. And then they've been a little bit more dynamic since Ryan JJ has slipped into that center back spot. He gives them something moving forward in that position.
Speaking of football lines, Furman Paladins will open their season tomorrow with a pretty difficult matchup at Ole Miss. That one might get a little ugly.
Fans, download the FanSaves app and follow the Greenville Triumph for access to exclusive deals at your favorite restaurants and breweries. So Lyon McKinnon drawing the foul there. Whistle blown by Alvin Oliva.
You hear the fans getting a little frustrated. That challenge there was probably the most obvious yellow card of the game, and nothing out of the book from referee Lever. Textbook challenge from behind, late. You see a good look at Omar Sis's strapped or wrapped up forearm. It's been wrapped up for a while now.
Pascal Corvino. The only one behind this dead ball at the moment. We'll see where he opts to square it to. He's got Hayden Anderson there, but he's starting to drift away. A couple bodies lined up alongside the perimeter. Corvino, not a bad ball, paid across the middle, but Austin Pack was able to react in time before it got by him. It would have been a wide open goal for Lyon McKinnon to tap into. To playing the Charlotte Independence team, Rick Wright said that this is a matchup this year that we've given away some cheap goals on, he said. He mentioned that as far as this game is concerned, given the extra stakes, is Dimmick. Plays this one across. Cleared away by Schultz, and it'll end up not being of any danger. Looked to be a push off there from Dimmick. Actually, it'll be the call is on Juan Carlos Obregon.
I thought Clay Dimmick was half a yard offside. Obregon went and shoved Jamie Smith in the back anyway. A bit of a cagey first quarter of this game. As are most of the matchups between these two sides.
They can get tactical. That's how Mike Jeffries described these clashes. Mentioned that we have a lot of respect for Greenville, Jeffries said, and that respect goes both ways. But it is a bit of a rivalry now. Obviously, the proximity helps with that. But when you get two teams that are consistently good, two talented groups with some experience on both ends.
Corner for Charlotte.
He said it can get a bit tactical at times, but it's always very competitive one way or another.
Yeah, we saw the move from Zion Scarlett into the middle of the park tonight, changed things up a bit from the time these two teams have played. A different look.
Now on the corner kick, here's Alvarez. Headed away by Evan Lee. Scarlett, who you just mentioned, gets there first. Spielman's all over him, and eventually the flag goes up from the assistant official, who's right there. A front row seat to that foul. "25 minutes in." I mentioned it, Ross. Bit of a KG match, and this is a game where the winner moves on to the Jägermeister Cup playoffs, locking up the group. Whether that be in regulation or in penalties. Corner kick now for Greenville.
Yeah, it was a nice long ball from Jamie Smith to Rodrigo Robles. We've seen a little more of that from Greenville this season, the direct ball, looking for those runs, especially with the pace of Robles in there now.
Corvino. One over by the right corner flag, looking to deliver this ball in nicely. It's Oberton who's on the end of it. Johnson drags it up ahead, and Alvarez has to just get it out of his clutches quickly. Obregon does nicely there with his knee. Now Johnson all by himself. Two men on him. Johnson gets that one away, and it's claimed by Gunther Rankenberg.
Lovely little touch from Obregon. Player down perhaps for Charlotte here, behind the plate. Perhaps it was Luis Alvarez who got clipped.
USL Championship soccer continues on the ESPN networks in September with a Western Conference matchup of teams fighting to stay in the playoff hunt. Last season's champion Phoenix Rising FC hosts FC Tulsa Friday, September 6th at 11 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Alvin Oliva having something else to deal with and address before allowing play to go on here. Bench on Mike Jeffries' side of things, voicing some displeasure.
It was certainly a late challenge on Alvarez on that far side. You mentioned consistency. God. I think he disagreed with that decision. He's not a small man. I don't like when bigger players get punished for their physical prowess. I think that's what. And now he's got another yellow card.
That's his second yellow card in cup play. Now, we won't know for certain if that was for the foul itself or for the dissent following afterwards, Ross. We're getting confirmation it was dissent. I would mention that if it had been just for the foul, that would have been particularly brutal.
No, it was barely a foul in the first place. And Gabriel Abitan's played at the highest level of the game, and he knows what a foul is and what isn't. Perhaps that's what he was saying to Alvin Weaver. Something of that nature. Jamie Smith here. Had to play a bit of fullback last week. Nate Schultz on the bench. He played there plenty in the past.
There's Gabriel Oberton once again interjecting.
He's angry, Mark.
Don't think you want to have to deal with an angry Gabriel Oberton. The Frenchman with the most decorated of pedigrees we've seen in USL League One. Robles.
I was trying to remember the name of the player that we talked to Mike Jeffries a few years ago about how they got Gabriel Oberton, and I forget the name of the French player they had. And he said, "Oh, can my buddy come along and practice with us?" And he said, "Who's that?" And he said, "Gabriel Oberton." Married to an American girl, just happened to be in the country. And Charlotte ever since.
Yeah, no big deal. Just my pal, Gabriel Oberton.
Similar situation with Greenville and Velasquez and Herrera.
Austin Pack punches it away.
Quite the same. Now Sebastian Velasquez about Chapo Herrera. He said, yes, bring him on. Those two have worked well together when they've been on the pitch, which certainly hasn't been as much as Rick Wright would have liked so far.
Ball thrown in, headed upward, and Oberton gets by Hayden Anderson. Big game here this evening. Rick Wright said it's also not only just a big game, but a chance to get the feeling for a big game down and understood from his team. He said down the road, playing in this matchup, no matter how it goes, could be massive when it comes to league implications, or if they win this game, that playoff matchup in the Jägermeister Cup.
Yeah, one win, really what Greenville need right now to just sort of end this skid, get the confidence going again. So they did have a players-only meeting this week that went well. Everybody seems to be pretty positive. Obviously the injuries are affecting things a little bit. See, none of these League One squads are particularly deep. The CBA rules.
Is there a moment to step up? You've got to be ready, and you've got to be flexible too. Kind of like Evan Lee, been a flexible player throughout the years for Greenville. Corvino. Zion Scarlett once again. Gets the ball returned to him. Scarlett whips in the cross. Knocked out of bounds. It's Ryan JJ on the clearance. The newly minted center back, but not a player without center back experience in his acumen. He came into Charlotte last season with experience at both defensive mid and at center back, but last year they only used him in the midfield. But this season, Mike Jeffries feels better about their depth in the midfield spot. And so he got the opportunity to plug back in there at the center back spot, and he's given Independence a different look. Mike Jeffries said he has the technical ability, he reads passes, he's a good ball winner, and he can initiate the movement forward. And it's been a very good fit for his side.
We've also got Omar Sis back to his spot in the defensive midfield now, and Noah Pilato can play there as well on the bench, former Greenville man.
Gonna be another long Hayden Anderson throw in here. But first, words from our head official.
I think he's saying, hey, you see how easily I give out yellow cards? Behave yourself.
Talking to the Charlotte captain, Clay Dimmick.
Scored a rebound goal last week in that win over Fuego. Find the back of the net occasionally, Clay. And here we go again.
Another look into the books.
That's the second one for Robles. He's off.
Rodrigo Robles. His night's over. So the early yellow card flurry has resulted in the Greenville Triumph being down a man for nearly 2/3 of this match. Rodrigo Robles just getting back to health, being ready to go. Sees his night come to an early conclusion.
Take another look at it here. Can't see anything from that angle. Looks like got caught with an elbow or a hand, but
yeah,
I didn't see
face.
a flail or reach back.
So that throws a curveball into things here. A game that's been pretty closed off for the first 30 minutes. Now the Independents have a man advantage. Which gives them more license to go for it, find the win, tie up their spot in the Jägermeister Cup playoffs.
Listen, I understand as a referee wanting to make your presence felt in the first 15 minutes or so of a game, but I don't like it when referees try to make themselves the center of attention, which I think is exactly what Alvin Oliva's done here, unfortunately. Now, Greenville, obviously if they do go to penalties here and win this, they will still qualify for the semi-final, so whether Rick Wright shuts up shop, we'll have to see. Zion Scarlett perhaps now just as the lone striker, just giving the sort of 4-4-1 route.
So here we go, 11 v 10. Charlotte haven't had too many opportunities in this game thus far, but their key was to wait for that window, and that window has gotten a little bit wider, a little bit easier to attain.
And with that said about the referee, Robles has got to be more careful too. We didn't get a great look at the amount of contact and where the contact was, but that close to the referee, get your hands up, there's always the risk of the player making a meal of it and you finding yourself with a second yellow.
Sorensen deflects this one back. Oberton, not a bad looking ball, but instead it's Rankenberg there first. And he'll quickly knock it up the pitch. Too much juice on that one, it was a good idea. And Lyon McKinnon thanks him for it. It's gonna be a moment like that that's gonna be the best chance for Greenville in this game, as long as it stays the way it is right now, with the Greenville Triumph down a man. And that's the thing, Ross, you mentioned it. This is operating under the assumption that we don't see another red card in this game at some point, with the amount of yellows that have already been dished out at this point.
That is the problem with when you're a little too loose with the early yellows, is that it stops the physicality in this game. It makes players think about it, think about challenges once they do get that first yellow. I understand the concept of why the first yellows are given out, but
Alvarez to Sis. He keeps it in play, but at the expense of possession. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
yeah, some big questions for Rick Wright to think about at halftime. As long as he can get there at 0-0, that's for sure.
There's going to be a chance here for Charlotte, but Juan Carlos Obregon just a hair too early behind the line in that breakaway.
Charlotte do have the pace, technical ability to beat you on the transition when needed. I wouldn't say they're the fastest team in the league, but at Greenville, you've got to be careful. Obviously, the rest of the way, picking and choosing your spots to push forward. With that said, Charlotte's going to continue to try and push forward as a unit as this game goes on. as they realize how much of a lack of a threat Greenville may pose up top if they decide to keep things as they are in this 4-4-1. See Greenville players going to be doing a lot of chasing now and spending energy a little more.
Anderson lays this one up for Scarlett. Rolls out of bounds before he can get there. Alvarez tearing it forward. Plays it over to Dimmick. Dimmick squares it. Oberton now. Oberton shoots. Deflected. Now McKinnon on the other end. Oberton tracking back and earning the ball for Charlotte.
Tyler Pollard with the brave sort of hockey-type block there. Just threw himself to the ground. Didn't want to let Gabriel Oberton have a good look at goal there.
Five more minutes plus whatever is tacked on here. We're watching the Independents and the Greenville Triumph on ESPN+. Each vying for their spot in the Jägermeister Cup playoffs. Dimmick. Nicely done through. Return to him, Dimmick. Forces Brandon Fricke to make a tough deflection there. Got to make sure you don't put that one on your own goal.
Could have gone absolutely anywhere, Mark. It's a risky play trying to hit it back where the ball is going.
Another ball inside, headed away by Smith. And Jai, not on the same page with Spielman. He was looking in the complete opposite direction. Lee sends Lyon McKinnon running. Lyon McKinnon with a chance to make a play himself. Plays it across! And it deflects into the arms of Austin Pack.
Great work there by Lyon McKinnon. It was a lovely ball to free him into space. He looked up, was looking for support. Found Zion Scarlett. Nice ball in, but Scarlett was a little off balance. Couldn't direct that shot past Austin Pack. For Greenville, obviously, as well, Marcus and Robles will now miss the next League One game. I only doubt that Leo Castro will be ready to go 90 in that one. This man might have to play center forward again, just like he did last weekend.
McKinnon rolling it in centrally. Polak jumps on it. Lee gets a return to him by Corvino. And it's knocked away for a Greenville throw. Maybe it's time for Evan Lee to go play the 9, Ross.
He'd do it too, you know.
Oh, he absolutely would.
He'll probably be asking at halftime. Coach, put me up. Every team has one of those guys, right, Mike? Just put me up, coach.
I got it. Trust me. Corvino. Played it himself, knocked outward.
Poor cross from Corvino. He had lots of bodies in the box. Just had to get it into the mixer. Didn't make great contact. The rookie out of Missouri State.
Offside flag going up on Jamie Smith.
Rare offside on Jamie Smith.
Yeah,
the first of his career.
Not too often you see that, that's for certain. Halftime coming up here soon. We'll look at the highlights from the last round of the Jägermeister Cup. Take a look at what's going on all across the league. It's an interesting week, Ross. We had games yesterday, we have games today, we have games tomorrow, we have a game, we have a game tomorrow, and then we have a game on Sunday.
It's the only one that matters, though. Just the way cup competition came down to it. We had one game yesterday that mattered, and this one, the rest of the games in this last round of round-robin games that matter.
Dimmick to Oberton. Winding about, loses his footing, but he doesn't lose the ball.
It's the battle of the balls.
Here's Obregon. Hits the brakes. Obregon takes the shot, but it's right down the middle. The battle of the balls, Ross.
Slight size difference. He wouldn't be in the same weight class in boxing, that's for sure. I think Tyler Pollack fights above his weight, though.
Yeah, I think that would fit. I think that tracks. Evan Lee just gets that one away. And it's returned to him by Anderson. Evan Lee back to Anderson. And that one's saved by Pack. Not sure if that was intended to be a shot or a cross, Ross, but ultimately Austin Pack was called into action.
Austin Pack, he misjudged this. I didn't expect the shot to come in. He had to scramble across and make a pretty acrobatic save in the end. Not particularly acrobatic by his standards, though. There's a couple he made last week. Ridiculous.
You see there, 4 more minutes tacked on. The Independents trying to ask questions, but Greenville also finding opportunities on the break.
Minutes of stoppage time for the first half.
Yeah, listen, if you just tuned in, I don't think you know that Greenville were a man down. They certainly haven't shied pushing bodies forward here in the 11 minutes since Rodrigo Robles was sent off.
More whistles, some more stoppage here. So I'll come back for, appears to be a Greenville throw-in. McKinnon. That one poked out and glanced off of Zion Scarlett on the end of it. Look at Rick Wright.
Sharp shirt. The South Carolina flag on the back. Rick Wright was laughing. I think was it the Richmond fans that were giving him grief about dressing like a golfer?
Yeah.
I mean, what else is a man of my age supposed to dress like as a coach? I think Rick Wright is a stylish man.
I mean, not everybody can pull off the Ayman Zayed look, per se.
It's two very different in coaching styles and dressing styles, that's for sure.
Nate Schultz being cautious there, heads it out of play. It's another corner kick for Charlotte.
As mentioned, chess match continues to XG below 0.2 for both of these teams in this first half. There hasn't been a ton of action in either box.
Schultz heads this one away as well, but this time not for a corner, as this one swung back in. Headed alongside the bicycle kick attempt from JJ. It's not out of the woods yet. And Jai. Now Sorensen making some moves. And Jai once again, but a sliding challenge from Jamie Smith sends this one out for a corner kick deep in Greenville territory.
That was clumsy from Greenville Overton. or Clay Dimmick, whoever you want to blame for that one. Dimmick offside. Bird will surely take his time here.
Just chew out this clock, get to the break, and figure out what the game plan is after that if you're Greenville down a man. After Rodrigo Robles was issued his second yellow card in just 33 minutes.
Those last two plays sum up this first half a little bit offensively. Just a bit of sloppiness from both sides. Remember, Greenville did play on Sunday, so one less day of rest in Independence than it was all the way on the road in Colorado. Do it for the first half.
It was ugly in a couple of ways, Ross. It's 0-0 between the two sides, but we're going into the break with one less player on the pitch than we started with. We'll see if the Charlotte Independents can take advantage of that in the second half. Winner moves on in this matchup. But right now, it's still all locked up at 0 apiece. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have some halftime content for you here on ESPN+. 0-0 after 45.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
You've never been afraid to put in the work. The extra early, extra late, extra work. Because you understand that education is the key that unlocks everything. Better pay, better hours, better opportunities, a better you. And playing the lottery is no different. Getting educated before you play gives you the tools you need to be a better player, like knowing when to play and when to take a rain check. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to be a better player.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we're proud to be a family-owned practice serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
South Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's reliable, that stays affordable. To do this, we're investing in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that South Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Halftime here at Paladin Stadium, 0-0 after 45 plus here between the Greenville Triumph and the Charlotte Independents. Let's take a look at the sights and the sounds from round 7 of the Jägermeister Cup. Can't wait to get through it.
Gardo conducting a ball into the box. Through the crowd, Dos Santos! It's that man again!
A chance potentially brewing for Charlotte. Luis Alvarez opening the scoring. Charlotte on the counter, a 5-star start. Greenville starting to twist the screws. And on the counter after the game's first corner, a breakthrough for Alvarez. Does McKinnon have a response? Yes, he does. A sensational strike. Greenville, we'll give those to you when we have them. Correa in space. This is Dustin Correa! His first goal for Charlotte at a pivotal moment. The Jacks back in front.
Notice Stadium stays silent. Liati to take the lead. Top.
Castro has to score, and he does. This year could grab the all-important extra point, and does.
An offensive opportunity. Here's Mason Tunbridge. Tried to slide that one through for Vivas. Rebound, scores! 5.5 minutes in. Niall Watson gets the 1-0 advantage for Tormenta. Teams across the country will begin playing August 17th. As that one comes in front, and Suko ties this game at 1. Ryan Sierakowski comes up and wins it. Sierakowski snaps the 4-game losing streak for Richmond. And Tormenta come back home with no wins in their last 3.
Still Malongo, the back heel. Toward goal, Coutinho! And stepped in! For the first time. Hooks it across, little half volley, still up for grabs. Jerez is down, punched away. Fired towards goal again, and finally breaking through. Try again. Boyce! The Flamingos stretch to the sky.
And in Spokane, it's currently 72 degrees. Perfect summer temperatures. Cross into the box! And Bruno Rendon, just seconds into entering the match, strikes first for Northern Colorado. Crossers at that left back spot. He will be replaced by Ish Jump. Luis Heel with a chance. Shot! Heel answers! Luis Heel. Right, fakes left. On that end line. Flick from behind. Wow, a one-of-a-kind strike from Noah Powder. The ball. Bit of crisscross action. Left-footed shot. Lodge takes him down in the box. The whistle. And the strike. Scores!
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
The best nights start with Jägermeister, made with 56 botanicals, always served ice cold. For the moments when anticipation becomes celebration. Jägermeister, meister the moment.
Deciding to go right up through the middle. A shot. Wow! Masango Akali.
Long range shot from Nordy, stopped, and that one trickles in.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix.
There's a new airline in town. Breeze Airways has arrived at GSP International Airport with nonstop flights to 5 cities nationwide. Enjoy low fares, no change or cancellation fees, and convenient nonstop service. Make your next trip seriously nice on Breeze Airways. Visit flybreeze.com to book your flight on GSP today.
We're back here for some more halftime content on ESPN Plus between the Greenville Triumph and the Charlotte Independence. Mark Schoenster and Ross Davenport with you here. We get a look at some of the Greenville locals watching the game right up and close and personal. No goals to see so far as we take a look at our news and notes across the USL. First off, just got to tip the cap to Indy 11, making it all the way to the US Open Cup semifinals. But their run has concluded there after losing on Tuesday to Sporting Kansas City. But Ross, we got another coach that's been installed into the USL League One ranks. The league continues to grow, and we're in for another bigger season next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun few months during the offseason when we see all these coaches added for these new teams. As you mentioned there, the top semifinals coming up on the 11th. Madison and NOCO will host. We'll see which one of these teams will be involved in one of those matches in about an hour, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was about to say, let's knock on wood there as we take a look at what's coming up in the Jägermeister Cup. Got another game tonight between Central Valley Fuego and Northern Colorado Hailstorm, who are the leading team in the Jägermeister Cup, both in points and also easily in goals scored. They've just been rocking this tournament. Then we got some Saturday fun between Lexington and Chattanooga, and then the conclusion of the group round between Tormenta and Knoxville. Now, let's paint the picture for you again here. In this group, brought to you by Hopkins Eye Center, Greenville have the edge, but as this is active standings, if we go to penalties and Charlotte win in penalties, they'll tie Greenville in points, and they will have the head-to-head advantage in Jägermeister Cup matches against each other, which would mean they would win Group 1, they would move on to the knockout round, and Greenville would be sitting home watching the playoffs from their couches in the Cup competition.
Shout out to Richmond there for giving it a run at the end, making it interesting.
Meanwhile, Madison last night locked things up in their game in a crazy one against Union Omaha, a game they were up 2-0, only to squander that 2-0 lead, down 3-2. They needed to at least draw to keep Lexington from passing them, and they were able to find a late-game equalizer thanks to Christian Chaney to make it 3-3. But the Owls will be at least somewhat pleased with scoring 3 goals to really secure that wild card spot, because you see them there behind the Hailstorm despite having 14 points. Cannot win their group, but they currently have 16 goals scored, which is well ahead of the pack of anybody else so far in that category for that 4th and final wild card spot.
You're telling me there's not going to be 7 goals in this last
in the next 45 minutes? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to stay locked in here on ESPN+. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we have that second 45 minutes for you on the docket.
It starts with only one tap to have total home control with Priority One Security. You can view your cameras and video doorbells, integrate our smart locks, lights, thermostats, and control your garage doors. Customize your smart devices to fit your schedule with our automated controls for a smart, effective, and secure way to protect your home. Experience total control and complete security from the convenience of our one app, one tap smart security and home automation on demand. Call Priority One Security and tap that app. Official partner of the Greenville Triumph.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
The lottery isn't about jackpot winners. It's about investing in our students. Even when it began in 2002, it was lottery proceeds that helped fund new technology initiatives in schools across South Carolina. And when students booted up those screens for the first time, they discovered a lifelong love of learning that shaped them into the professionals and people they are today. When you play the lottery, the real winners are always our students. After all, education is our middle name.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting new tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Tonight's match is also presented by ScanSource, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. We welcome you back here for the second half of Jägermeister Cup Round 8 between Greenville and Charlotte. Here are the first half highlights. I'm Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you. This was the big chance of the game thus far, goal scoring wise. Gabriel Oberton hits the woodwork there. And on the other end, we get this opportunity that gets stopped by Austin Pack, denying Ryan McKinnon the tap-in goal. But this is the most crucial moment of the first half, and it's the second yellow card, a hit to the face by Rodrigo Robles, which means he gets sent off. And Greenville are down to 10 men, which means that I would anticipate Charlotte trying to keep their foot on the gas here as this game goes on.
You see the replay of that Obregon and Robles coming together. It just looked like they were battling in a loose hand. There was certainly no intent. Robles even knew where Obregon was, but I believe it, as he has been all night, no mercy. Off went Robles.
That's an opportunity started by Oberton, and then it was Obregon who would get the shot off, but easy enough save for Gunther Rankenberg. After the game got uneven in personnel, it actually opened up on both ends, Ross, for both sides. It was now Charlotte the ones that were on the attack and Greenville the one playing the counterattack game. But as it stands still, 0-0 apiece. As we take a peek at the halftime stats brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Yeah, interesting to see how Greenville attacked the second half. It'll also depend on the legs of some of these players that went the full distance on Sunday. Do have options offensively like Ben Zakowski, Carlos Anguiano on the bench. Obviously Leo Castro, perhaps good for 10-15 minutes at the end if they need a goal somewhere. Obviously they would like him on there for penalties as well, perhaps.
And the second half is underway here.
Substitution at the half for Charlotte. Entering the match, number 21, Dustin Correa. Leaving the match, number 14, Luis Alvarez.
We'll get one substitution for Mike Jeffrey's side. And it's a man that Greenville have some bad memories about from the last meeting between these two teams. Dustin Correa comes in for Luis Alvarez. Correa scored the game-winning goal last meeting between these two teams. An entirely fresh face for Charlotte at the time, and still very new, just has 3 league appearances and that one Jägermeister Cup appearance, and we've got another yellow card back right where he picked off, Ross.
I have to restrain myself here, Mark. Brandon Fricky not restraining himself, having a word. The referee, Alvin Oliva, shaking his head, probably quite rightly so.
So a free kick incoming now for the Independents as we get another yellow card here. It was 3 yellow cards issued to Charlotte in the first half, and then 3 yellow cards given to the Greenville Triumph, but 2 of them were given to Rodrigo Robles. So now there's only just 1 player on the pitch with the yellow card for Greenville from the first half of action. Of course, now a second yellow card has just been given, so that's now 2 players who have to be cautious for Greenville.
Gray will take the free kick. I assume Alvarez may have been banged up from that one challenge that Mike Jeffries was so upset about with about 15 minutes to go in that first half. Stiffened up on him, so Correa on.
Correa whips this one in, headed out. Now it's Correa again. Play this one up for Johnson. And his service will glide over top. Yellow card officially been given to Pascal Corvino. He's the one who got the booking. Hayden Anderson gets taken down. Nick Spielman, Glenn with the swipe on the back.
In the 47th minute, the referee issued a caution to Greenville's number 16.
There's Corvino now who will take this free kick. Greenville players line up all along the top of the 18. Corvino. Not a bad ball. Brandon Fricke couldn't quite get on the end of it. Scarlett recovers the ball. Henderson now plays this one centrally. Spielman nods it out, but it's Anderson again. Taking on Njai. He's able to get that ball in the middle. Obregon struggles to deal with it at first. It's a bit hectic for Charlotte as they look to get rid of the ball there. Once again, they are the team that's currently up in the advantage right now, man-wise, but Greenville asking questions regardless.
You can see what Greenville happy to let Charlotte come into their half and then pay some attention, not pressing too hard. Obviously, less player means a bit more running. See if Rick Wright can get to the hour, 65-minute mark to think about substitutions, get some fresh legs on there.
And when it comes to easing back in Leo Castro, this is not exactly the ideal way to do so. Some slippage from Correa. Gifts the ball back to the home team. Sis, bring that one down.
That's what Greenville are going to have to do, pick and choose their chances to press as they did just there. They were looking to force that turnover. Charlotte didn't have many numbers back. This is a lovely ball.
Ryan McKinnon was looking to get himself on the end of it.
It was well dealt with by JJ in the end. So much about cutting those long balls off is the route you take to that ball.
Obregon decides to fire, and that one's well off target. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 in the new Sirius XM app. Hayden Anderson. Throw it back to Nate Schultz. Returns the favor. And the whistle blows, preventing Greenville from progressing forward. Well, actually, it's going to be a free kick for Greenville. Zion Scarlett was definitely the one who was looking to obtain possession there. But no advantage being played, and now we're going to get a yellow card.
It's getting ridiculous, Mark. That's the second one.
So Sorensen has been sent off. As you mentioned, his second yellow card, which means it's down to 10 men for both teams. At GSP International Airport turns it into a red card, brought to you by GSP International Airport in Ross. I just felt when that first sent-off happened that it was not going to be the last one that was going to happen in this game, and I don't think that's a good, I guess, inclination to have in any game, that you think another red card is going to be sent and be given. But here we are. The field's a little bit wider, a little more space for players to operate with, but it's even once again, both on the score sheet and on the pitch, as both these teams are looking to advance on with a victory to the Jägermeister Cup semifinals
I'll get to this, so go ahead. I was going to say something, but go ahead, Mark. It's a free kick out of the way.
Corvino plays it inside. Jamie Smith got his head on it. Couldn't put it on frame.
Nice delivery from Corvino. Jamie Smith just couldn't get his head on the right side of it, get it on target. We're talking about Alvin Oliva's recent history. He refereed into Miami 2 against Orlando City B in June and handed out 2 red cards and 9 yellows. And on that next pro game back in June, he also gave out 11 yellows and a red card. There's a theme here, Mark, and these players, as I mentioned, should know better, but still understand putting a referee with this penchant for cards in charge of a must-win game for both these teams to progress in this tournament. But no doubt, it's the second game in 3 games I've done. We've had a first half red, a second half red for the other team. We'll see if this game opens up, Mark, as you said, creates some extra space, but it also means more space for these guys to cover. And perhaps at this point, both teams might be happy to settle for penalties after all this is said and done. Because you're not sure what to do now at this point, Mark. What kind of challenge can you make?
Seems like at any given moment, contact can be punished severely.
But we know this is a physical league, right? Especially at times with these two teams. There's some very physical players. This man on the ball. Obertan likes to throw his weight around legally. Jamie Smith, guys like that live on the edge. It's just a shame that officiating takes that away from these guys.
Here we are. Winner moves on in this tournament. And we've got one less man on the pitch for either one of them, which actually doesn't work to their detriment in this cup. It actually works to their detriment in league play because these cards carry over. So Greenville will be going to Omaha next week without Rodrigo Robles. And Charlotte will be going to Knoxville next weekend on the road without Anton Sorensen. And that's been one of the things that Mike Jeffries talked about when it came to this 9-match unbeaten streak, is that he hasn't had to change his lineup all that much. And when you have consistency in your 11, that's going to result in you playing better and being more consistent, which is something that Greenville's been trying to get back to, but injuries have been hindering them on that front. But when you have red card suspensions, now you got to throw in some tweaks and you got to figure out who's going to fill in that spot, or if you have to change your shape up a little bit.
Yeah, Fabrice Gar, obviously a capable replacement at the left-back spot for Mike Jeffries. We'll see him out there next weekend. Unless he comes on, of course, unless he comes on and gets a red card this week.
Right.
At this point,
nothing is off the table. At the same time, nothing's off the table for either of these teams to take this game.
It's going to certainly be, we talked about it being a chess match earlier. I think the game of substitutions here in the next perhaps 10 or 15 minutes is going to be an interesting one that could certainly change how the rest of this game goes. Sounds like Mike Jeffries isn't going to waste any more time. He's going to go to the bench soon. Obviously, you have dangerous treasure and Boo on there. Him with fresh legs against some tired legs. Will not be looking forward to seeing. He's already made the one sub with Dustin Correa.
Here's Bashir and Jai. Shrugs off some contact. Obertan. Cuts left. Obertan across the middle. Knocked away by Polak.
You need a little bit of class from somebody, and Gabriel Obertan could deliver it very quickly. This game is just lacking that little bit of edge tonight. Both these teams look a little tired. Obviously, it's been refereed, taking a bit of the bite out of it as well.
Zion Scarlet's on the turf, so stopping play here for a moment. So Jamie Smith saunters his way over for the throw-in. The youngster getting the start here. His 7th. Well, actually, he's got 6 starts in league play.
So it's been a while since he's played this much, though. Especially up top in an unfamiliar position. Somewhat this season. He has played there previously in his career. Looks like cramp getting in a little bit humid out there after the storms earlier.
Coming over from Columbus too. those young players that Rick Wright has brought in. He brought in some old and he brought in some new, Ross, with the likes of bringing in Herrera and Velasquez, veterans who have lots of experience. And then he also brought in some young blood like Zion Scarlett, Pascal Corvino, Hayden Anderson.
Yeah, his last start, he only went 61 minutes, did Zion Scarlett. That was back in mid-June, so it's been a while since he's gone this long in the game, and it looks like it'll be it for him. Ben Zakowski will come in. We'll see what kind of adjustment, if any, Rick Wright makes. He could perhaps move Liam McKinnon inside, Ben Zakowski out wide, but he can also play in the middle of the park as well.
The substitution brought to you by Spinks. Ben Zakowski in for Zion Scarlett, but it does give Rick Wright some flexibility as far as how they will then look shape-wise, because Ben Zakowski can play in a lot of spots. So this is going to be our adjustment of the match, brought to you by Upstate Spine and Sport, because Zakowski could just slip in and play as that second striker where Zion Scarlett was playing, or Zakowski could slide into the middle of the field and Liam McKinnon could end up playing up top. It'll be interesting to see if Ben Zakowski can play as that sort of number 9 in a 10v10 situation. He's proven his eagerness to get out there and play no matter where Rick Wright puts him, whether it be as the number 10, as one of the wingers. Perhaps now he'll be at the top of the formation.
Obviously, as coaches here, you're going to start thinking about your penalty kick takers as well. Rick Wright said they've been practicing penalties all year. Looks like McKinnon may move up centrally. Zakowski out wide.
Here is McKinnon. Now Schultz.
As we all remember, the early struggles this season Greenville had with penalties.
McKinnon currently has the ball. Corvino. Charlotte doing really well to deny any sort of progress, and now it'll be a free kick in favor of the home side. Another whistle, another free kick for the Independents. Fans, make sure to grab your tickets to the Triumph's next home match on September 21st. Visit triumphtix.com to buy today. So 60 minutes in, no goals scored, 2 players out, 1 for each team. 30 more minutes for one of these teams to win it in regulation, but if not, we will go to penalties, and the one moving on will be decided there.
Gabriel Oberton's gone the hour. Mentioned perhaps longer than they thought we might have seen him. Is he one that Mike Jeffries sticks on, keeps on the field just for penalty purposes?
Correa throws it to Johnson. Now the whistle inhibits that, and it'll now be a Greenville throw. The USL League One is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Spielman has to avoid Liam McKinnon there. Now Johnson hits it up the pitch and out of play. It'll be interesting to see, Ross, as this game goes on, which team, if either of them, will be more content with going to penalties, or if the aggression and the end-to-end is really going to pick up.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Charlotte with the extra day of rest. Greenville played Sunday night on the road. So perhaps think Greenville at home, though, so perhaps Rick Wright's going to give it a go. So I think they'll pick and choose their spots here in the final 28 minutes. So I hope they can get that go-ahead goal. Don't get caught going on the transition.
Tonight's winner is Danae Rogers. Congratulations, Danae, and thank you for taking the Bud Zero Safe
Obergon up the pitch to Oberton, but it's Polak who's there first. He's got to be careful with it. Rankenberg rolls it up to Fricky. The veterans exchanging passes here. Tyler Polak and Brandon Fricky. Well done by Rankenberg. Sikowski lofting it up to Anderson. The offside flag goes up, and the free kick will be awarded to Charlotte. So an adjustment going to be made for Mike Jeffries. Fabrice Nga mentioned his name earlier as a potential starter in their next game. He's also going to make his entrance in this one, subbing in for Joel Johnson.
Well, that gets them back to the traditional four at the back. Risangat, left back by trade. Joel Johnson can play fullback, play more on the wings of late.
Nga plays it up to Oberton. A light tap from Oberton back to Nga. And now he'll traverse centrally. It's a nice ball from him. Oberton one-on-one with Schultz. Up to Correa.
Oberton has stopped his run into the channel. Now a chance for Greenville to break.
Sikowski running this one down. McKinnon's in the middle. Evan Lee's behind him. And this one will deflect over to the top of the 18 where it's dealt with. Starting to see more of that space, given the fact that both players are down a man. Hefty collision. Brandon Fricky and Juan Carlos Obregon, both ailing after that one. Yellow card awaiting to be brandished on Fricky.
That's been my face a few times tonight, Brandon. Let's take a look at it here. Well, it was one of those ones that was Brandon Fricky was intending to give the shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Juan Obregon just sort of turned and he caught him in the ribs. Another one of those potentially harsh yellow cards, the force of it perhaps. Ryan McKinnon now pleading his case. And don't waste your time, mate. Just walk away.
This is the game as it's been established today. You got to play by those rules. Spielman playing it over to Nga. Being chased by Anderson, so he'll roll it back. Spielman. Give it right back and Nga. Correa to Oberton. That's out for a Greenville throw. With a chance to chat with Rick Wright a little bit about scouting out college players He mentioned that it's nice to have colleges like Furman and Clemson nearby, the chance to check out some of those games now that the season has started up. But he also mentioned that USL League One's changing, and that what used to be a league that was rife full of college graduate guys is now turning more athletic, and more USL Championship guys are making their way into USL League One year after year. Now it's getting more and more challenging to find that balance between bringing in those college graduate players and bringing in USL Championship vets. That's a fine line, and you've got to strike the right chord. And each year it seems like there's less and less room for these players straight out of college to get minutes in USL League One.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, CBA has changed things as well. Higher minimum salary, there's less players on the roster. Well, these teams now are starting to get more of these academy players involved. Their own academies, careful. They got away with it in the end. Championship players seeing the level of this League One increase every year. Say, hey, pay increase. Say, I'd rather be playing in League One than sitting on a bench in Championship. We've seen players go up to the Championship and back down to League One as well as a result of that.
Brandon Fricky over to Schultz. McKinnon heads it in the middle. It's only Omar Sis there. Brandon Fricky rolls it to Evan Lee. Lee gallivanting forward. Plays it to the middle. McKinnon may have come off his arm, and that will be the decision. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team. Play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
I think if I was playing this game in eFootball, I may have thrown my controller.
Probably not alone in that one. 20 minutes to go. Both teams down a player. Both teams really put themselves in a good spot if they can find the back of the net. But it hasn't been a game that's promised a lot of that. Greenville just 0.5 expected goals. Charlotte at 0.24.
You see Greenville now dropping into that low block with the two lines of four. Liam McKinnon just chasing around at the top here.
Here's Nga. A loose touch from him. Fricky tearing it forward. Brandon Fricky still going, the captain. Sends Zakowski running. Zakowski drags this one back to Jamie Smith. Now Greenville will go on the prowl and see if they can break down Charlotte. Lee. Into McKinnon. Here's Schultz now. Walking it forward, McKinnon. Inside for Zakowski. Line McKinnon right down the middle. Leaves it out for Evan Lee, who let it fly. Glances off of Njai. And out for a corner kick.
It may take either a moment of brilliance or a mistake, really, to split these two teams, I think, tonight. It was almost one there by Evan Lee. Good strike on it. And McKinnon will come over to take this corner. Charlotte have been involved in 4 penalty shootouts already this season. They had 2 in the league, in this cup, as well as 2 in the Open Cup. 3 wins, 1 loss.
There's Lion McKinnon. Swings it in, headed away by JJ, and then Correa adds the extra sauce on it.
I take that back, 5 penalty shootouts this season for Charlotte. They've lost their last 2 to the Hailstorm and the Kickers in this competition. Of course, 2 points dropped there that could have been very crucial. To beat South Carolina United Heat in the Open Cup, as well as Rhode Island FC in that upset over the championship side.
Tyler Pollock lifts this one into the air, and it slips by. Here's McKinnon. Lion McKinnon across goal, and then Anderson. Could not beat Omar Sis there.
Great chance, just got a deflection. And some good contact, but Fabrice got in the right place to block the shooting attempt.
Speak substitution for Greenville.
So another corner kick for Greenville. The first substitution, Pascal Corvino out, Carlos Anguiano in. The substitution brought to you by Spinks.
Speak substitution for Greenville. Entering the match, number 6, Carlos Anguiano. Leaving the match,
Benzakowski is going to relinquish corner kick opportunity to the new substitute. It'll be his first touch of the match. Let's see if he can make it count. From the right corner flag, Carlos Anguiano.
Starting a bunch lately. 6 spot. That's his number.
Nothing much with that one, and now Oberton will carry it forward. "15 more minutes to go." Both teams with the equal opportunity to advance. And I think the far-fetched scenario of both teams advancing in the case of a high-scoring draw are out the window at this point.
I think so. I think Omaha can go to sleep now if they really want to. They'll probably want to stay out for the PKs though.
Changes on the docket, getting ready for Mike Jeffries. As this one's sent forward, Smith goes down, Obregon slipping it through, and it gets by the keeper! A sliding finish! And it may be the man of Greenville's nightmares again, Dustin Correa. Giving the Jacks the lead. He scored the game winner in the last meeting. And he has put the pressure on the home side again here.
Good ball through. A good finish. Brandon Fricke was beaten for pace. Jamie Smith was looking for the foul as he got taken down 25 yards out. Once again, Obregon Jr. with another assist against Greenville. That's a quality sliding finish by Correa on the turf.
Scoring at nearly the exact same time he scored in the last meeting between the two. He scored in the 75th minute in their last match. 76th minute officially here. Dustin Correa, the Greenville killer. So now we've got a couple of housekeeping things here for you. Jamie Smith was given a yellow card after that fact, trying to plead his case. And now we've got 2 changes for Mike Jeffries. First off, Nelson Pierre, the youngster subbing in for the veteran Gabriel Oberton, and the former Greenville man Noah Pilato will step in for Bashir and Jai.
And number 56, Gabriel Oberton.
The XGs in the second half for both these teams were .03 until that goal from Correa. That tells you how much of a snooze fest it's been. One moment of brilliance from Obregon. Nice finish by Correa that could be the difference in this one.
There's the changes, and there's the former Greenville player, Noah Pilato, coming in. Here's another fun little Jägermeister Cup oddity for you, Ross. Talked earlier about the now 5 yellow cards that Anton Sorensens collect in the Jägermeister Cup. Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. has 0 assists in the regular season, but now has 3 assists in the Jägermeister Cup, so just turns on the provider mode when he gets into the cup competition.
For Rick right now, it's just a question of what point does he bring Leo Castro on, if at all. His only real offensive threat left on the bench. Oliver Hald can push forward a little bit down the wings.
Anderson trying to best and got. As before that goal was scored, there was no intense pressure for either team to find the back of the net, but now Greenville have to find an equalizer to keep their Jägermeister Cup alive.
There's the first shot on target for any team since halftime. So you see Austin Pack taking his sweet time as he will.
This is a Greenville team that had quite the point advantage going into round 7 of the Jägermeister Cup, but to close the season in the cup competition, it was back-to-back games with the one team that was trying to catch up to them, Charlotte, and the Independents look to take all 6 points from these last 2 meetings to flip the script and to pass the Greenville Triumph at the last moment. Break into the USL Jägermeister Cup semifinals.
Aguiano with his hands out. Not the first player to be doing that tonight. Tom Pollack asking what the foul was for. Perhaps he was asking why he didn't get it on.
In a game that's been full of some mishaps. Both teams down to 10 men. It is Charlotte well after the field was even once again. They're the ones who have found the much needed advantage. As it stands, would be moving on. They join the likes of Madison and the Hailstorm as guaranteed spots. Omaha, not guaranteed yet, but awfully close to it. Schultz.
Lineups just coming out for that late game. It's interesting to see how the teams that are already out of it or already qualified they deal with these meaningless games. Zayed starting pretty much a B squad. Good to see Evan Parr getting a start though. You can tune into that one 10:30. Jay Keegan, former Greenville man, getting a start as well tonight for the Hailstorm.
At this point, you could say Jay Keegan, former, just throw a dart at the league, yeah, and you'd be correct.
The other Robles also starting for North Carolina. Hopefully he stays on the pitch for the full time, for the full 90.
And Guiano plays this one inside, and it's just beyond goal. Evan Lee made contact with it, searching for that leveler.
Austin Pack knew how close this was going to be. He was at full stretch to his right. He was also a bit late. Maybe he pulled his hand back at the last minute when he saw it was going to go past the post, but good chance for Greenville. It's in the final 8 minutes here. Austin Pack again taking his time. Somehow, no yellow brandished to him as of yet for time wasting.
Zakowski will run after this one. Clay Dimmick is able to poke it away to Correa. Justin Correa with 2 goals as an Independence player, both of which against the Greenville Triumph. Jamie Smith. Over to Schultz. Nate Schultz with some steam. Out to Anderson. Here's the service from Smith. Not a bad looking ball. And it slips down to McKinnon. He was not ready for it.
Man, if he'd just been a little more prepared, I think he just took his mind out of the game for half a second and didn't think the ball was going to bounce back to him. That's exactly what happened, and he just turned with it and had a quality scoring chance. Hasn't seen many of those tonight. Neither team has really.
We're going to get another change here for the Greenville Triumph, and it is the return of Leo Castro. He'll step in for Nate Schultz on this Spink substitution. Such an important piece for this Greenville team. I know we've talked about the absence of Velasquez and Herrera and how important they are, but Leo Castro brings another veteran presence at the top and also alleviates some of the responsibilities from Liam McKinnon. And also adds another thing for defenses to worry about. Managing this Greenville Triumph team, as here's Castro now.
Greenville's going to go 3 at the back here now. Push more bodies forward, seeking that equalizer. Castro just snatched that one a little bit. At the time, chance for the first time volley, decided to bring it down.
There is the Colombian in his 2nd year with the Greenville Triumph. Has 5 goals in league play this season, 1 in the Jägermeister Cup. And boy, could they use them to step up now. Just 5 more minutes plus added time to go. Can Charlotte hang on to this one and advance in the tournament? Will Greenville find a late equalizer? Big free kick has been awarded to Greenville here. And Spielman's probably going to go to the books for that one.
You think Spielman not pay any attention to what happened in the first 85 minutes? I don't know what you can complain about, sir. Sent that one for it. Certainly the response to the free kick decision. Come on, Nick, you know better than that.
Yellow card brought to you by GSP International Airport.
Caution to Charlotte's number 4, Nicholas Spielman, in the 86th minute.
Chance here. Zakowski on it. Ryan McKinnon there too. Something better chance for a left-footed player from this side.
So you see McKinnon, Zakowski, 2 by it right now. See a couple of bodies hovering in and around the ball as conferring takes place. Zakowski's service comes in, headed away. Anderson rifles it back into the mixer. And then a sliding effort from Correa, similarly to the way he had to slide to score in this one, knocks it away. Anderson with the long throw. Looks like a potential head injury warrants the whistle to be blown. Clay Dimmick, the captain, who's still down on the turf. Just going up in the air with Leo Castro, and sometimes that can happen.
Dimmick certainly going to make the most of this one, whether he was caught or not.
CQ Roberts looking to get himself into this game. Maybe add some extra bulk on the back line to see this one through.
Certainly see another couple of minutes added on here to whatever we had initially. The players were frustrated at the decision to stop the game there, but when it comes to head injuries, you can't take any risks. Dimmick will wander back on as soon as we restart play here.
It's worth reiterating, up to this point in the series, all across the board, it's 5 wins for both teams, no draws in this series at all. And only once has the away team won a match in this series, and it was Greenville last year. Charlotte looking to buck that. Anguiano to Zakowski.
He'd been better off if he tried to head it back across. He had Castro and Fricky there. Instead, just too close to Austin Pack. Nice cross by Anguiano. He'd be better off just... Well, Fricky and Castro were a little deep inside that 6-yard box. Perhaps if one of them had dropped back just slightly, given Zakowski another option.
First look roll at Nelson Pierre. It's been a lot of Greenville on the prowl at the moment. The 19-year-old getting a touch on the ball there, though. Jamie Smith launches this one inside. Evan Lee laying it over to Anderson. We're going to get 5 more minutes here tacked on. Anderson with the cross. It falls to Fricky. But it may have just slipped underneath him. And it actually ended up hitting his hand.
If it hit any other part of his body, that one could have ended up in the back of the net.
Before we take this free kick, we've got another substitution for Mike Jeffries, and it's a defensive one. Hugh Roberts, the center back, subs in, and JC Obergod will step out now. Got the assist on what is right now the lone goal in this game. Reinforcements as Charlotte inspired to see this one out for the next 4 minutes. It's also worth reminding that as far as eliminating contention, the Independents did that very same thing to Greenville last year in the playoffs. So you want to talk about a rivalry that's adding more and more lore, if you will.
Yeah, I mentioned it could be a chess match of substitutions, and this is exactly what it was so far. Correa off the bench for what could be the winner. Greenville now with a chance here.
Anguiano. Pops this one inside, headed down, but not out. Zakowski clipped it.
Not enough depth on that delivery from Anguiano. Disappointing.
Rankenberg coming well out, and he might as well give Greenville an extra man. This one headed a long goal, but couldn't be chased down by either McKinnon or Castro. Just over 2 more minutes. Tyler Polak will now roll it forward. Long ball from him, headed away by Spielman. Does make its way to a corner. How many more chances are there in this one for Greenville? How many more moments do Charlotte have to lock in and defend? "90 more seconds. That one dealt with easily by Charlotte. Greenville's Jägermeister Cup ticking away here. Headed inside. Anguiano, his small body came flying in, knocks over and got.
Yeah, just a split second too late from Anguiano. I'm sure Anguiano will milk this for all it's worth.
Card's been given to Austin Pack here for time wasting, which puts us back into that zone of, I don't know particularly just how much time is left in this game. A yellow card brought to you by GSP Airport, because we've now hit the 95 minutes, so it's up to Olvin Oliva's discretion for how many more moments have remained to be played.
Great work by Brandon Fricky. Really good Nelson Pierre on the way up too.
McKinnon with the one-timer.
Do it, I think.
Austin Pack will take his precious time, but he also doesn't want to make sure he gets a second yellow for time wasting here in the dying moments of this game. You have a road trip to Knoxville to think about. The whistle still not blown. Rankenberg plays the long ball forward. Headed away, Zakowski. And there's the final whistle. Charlotte haven't asked for the check yet. Their Jägermeister Cup journey continues. 1-0 your final score. As for the first time in the series history, the Jacks win in Greenville.
Yeah, it's a shame because this game promised so much as a must-win game to continue in this competition, and unfortunately, I'm going to use the word pedantic. I'd rather use a word that rhymes with that, but pedantic display from referee Olvin Oliva, and Charlotte come out on top. 1-0 deserved winners. Had the best chance of the game and put it away. That man again, Dustin Correa, is the difference.
So with that in mind, we're gonna step aside. When we come back, we'll have our post-game thoughts here. Your final score, Charlotte 1, Greenville 0.
What exactly is a Sully steamer? Our sandwiches are made to order, which means once you've taken a look at our big menu and narrowed down your options, we go to work. Our sandwiches are stuffed with fresh, flavorful ingredients and then placed in our special steamer until the sandwich gets warm and soft and fuses all the flavors together to achieve the peak of tastiness. Are you hungry yet?
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
It starts with only one tap to have total home control with Priority One security. You can view your cameras and video doorbells, integrate our smart locks, lights, thermostats, and control your garage doors. Customize your smart devices to fit your schedule with our automated controls for a smart, effective, and secure way to protect your home. Experience total control and complete security from the convenience of our one app, one tap smart security and home automation on demand. Call Priority One Security and tap that app. Official partner of the Greenville Triumph.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting new tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. As we welcome you back here for post-game coverage of the Charlotte Independents, victorious over the Greenville Triumph 1-0 on the road. They are moving on to the semifinals as we roll into September. All 3 points. Here are your highlights from this game. Winner takes all as far as who is moving on. First off, this chance from Gabriel Oberton hits the woodwork. One of the bigger chances in the game would go without finding the back of the net. But then the first of 2 red cards that would be issued in this game. Rodrigo Robles for the Greenville Triumph would be the first to be sent off, and Greenville would stay in the man disadvantage for the rest of the first half. Here, these full-time highlights brought to you by GSP International Airport. But even though Greenville would be down a man, they would find some opportunities. As that one saved on the shot from Hayden Anderson. We go into the second half, and a second yellow card be given to Anton Sorensen. And he'd make his way off to make it 10v10. Equal footing once again, but it wouldn't be an equal scoreline for much longer as Justin Correa would end up finding the back of the net here, makes the run, and slides onto that one to best Gunther Rankenberg, giving this one the 1-0 lead, the much-needed 1-0 lead for Charlotte.
Yeah. Jamie Smith felt like he got taken down by Juan Arbogin just before the pass. No call, though. That would be the difference in this one.
Anguiano with the cross, brings it inside. Zakowski with the header. Couldn't connect with Castro Fricke. Instead, finds the arms of Austin Pack. Here are your full-time stats brought to you by Coca-Cola. Pretty even game all around. Charlotte were the team to take advantage of the chance that was given to them.
Yeah, just as with most of the matchups between these two teams, a tied affair. Unfortunately, the physicality was taken out of it by the referee, but congrats to the Charlotte Independents for moving on.
As far as matchups in the Jägermeister Cup, we'll wait to see when these games will take place. But these two teams will next be at it next weekend on the road. For Greenville, they'll be at Omaha. For Charlotte, they'll be in Knoxville. That is the end of this broadcast for our entire broadcasting crew. For Ross Davenport, I'm Mark Schoenster saying thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next time. Your final score, the Charlotte Independents 1, the Greenville Triumph 0. Have a good night.